In our communities, we don't separate ourselves from nature. We are nature.
Team Old Spice is coming into the pits!
Coconuts and palm trees.
Is it true you liked your brother's 14-year-old friend?
Yeah, but I used to have a crush on him.
That Oris? Like Oris cosplays? The one who's in a relationship with her dad?
Why do you always have to bring my parents into it?
Anyone who is in the community and knows anything about the cosplay community already knows who I'm talking about.
This is Oris cosplay.
I was the Chris Chan of cosplay for years, which I'm actually very embarrassed about.
One more time! What did you just say?
Love from my dad. You don't know my situation. Anything I say, you blackmail me for disagreeing with you. We view minors in a different way compared to how Japanese people view minors.
Someone who literally in an audio clip said that they were attracted to like a 14-year-old minor.
I feel like there's like a gray area. He came in my room with me. You know that in Japan, they view 13-year-olds as adults.
I have a lot to say about this person.
She's absolutely insane.
I don't really want to question the Japanese.
Do you think that you're the victim in this situation?
Yeah. Oh, well, not 100%.
It is currently 6:30 a.m. because I had a lot of trouble sleeping last night. So in this video, I'm going to be addressing something very serious then.
Goodbye.
Cosplay. A hobby and way of life, both treated with love and respect by those who participate in the joy that is realizing your favorite characters to life in a welcoming and communal setting. From wildly popular meetups at anime conventions held across the globe, to viral sensations on social media who share their craft with millions online through photo ops, humorous skits, and other various displays that represent the joy that such a diverse hobby can bring, cosplaying is truly an artistic marvel. Whether your cosplay is a one-to-one real-life interpretation forged by long hours of dedication, if you casually put something together just to participate in the fun, or even if your cosplay is leaning on the more questionable side of things.
Puppy, this chicken's bussin'.
Cosplaying, for the most part, is truly an incredibly rewarding passion, consisting of individuals who oftentimes may be more reserved, finding themselves coming out of their shell to participate in a warming sense of belonging. However, veering off the path of naivety of the darker aspects hidden beneath the surface, cosplay culture is not absolved of its negative aspects and bad actors by any means. From the mildly annoying to outright psychotic, the cosplaying community has brought forth some rather interesting individuals who have been the subject of online scrutiny throughout the years. But with our character of interest today, a predatory individual who has been virtually blacklisted from every major anime convention in the country, who has a special kind of love with her father and has a family made up of plastic dolls, I think it's safe to say that no story has ever been quite as perplexing, more so disturbing than hers. So if you'd allow me the absolute pleasure of introducing to you, Kelly White, aka Oris Cosplays, aka Reborn Cosplay Mom of Many, or more easily referred to across internet forums simply as Oris. 29-year-old Kelly White, on the surface, appears to be quite the oddity when it comes to the minifigures found on TikTok, remaining quietly in her corner of the website with her humble following of around 35,000 followers on her main account, alongside an even more tucked-away page under the name Soft Girl Unicorn that houses a smaller fanbase of around 5,700 users, where she ironically has in her bio that she is gender fluid and goes by she/he, despite her open disavowalment of the LGBTQ+ community and her stance as an anti-woke cosplayer. When it comes to her presence on TikTok, her earliest known appearance dates all the way back to early 2019, where she performed a lip sync to a song about her love for anime, while she displayed to viewers her Full Metal Alchemist manga. Following this debut, Kelly would begin to upload across both accounts her numerous cosplays, switching between the title of both Kelly White and Oris, with her most notable cosplaying endeavors consisting of recreating scenes with characters from Hazbin Hotel, The Legend of Zelda, Steven Universe, and My Hero Academia. However, what was peculiar about her account that made her stand out against the rest of the cosplaying community was the bizarre inclusion of her 60-plus-year-old father, with whom she would often duet with, frequently in romantically themed scenarios, with her mother apparently being forced out of the picture, as Oris has declared her mom to be too overweight, therefore making her unworthy to participate in the hobby. Her words, not mine.
So a lot of people ask me sometimes, why doesn't your mom ever cosplay with you if your dad cosplays with you? And I'm gonna sound very mean, but I'm also gonna compare it to like how in Hollywood weight matters. I'm not saying my mom's fat, I'm just saying if she was like skinnier, and she's losing weight by the way, and yesterday I gave my mom a goal. If you get to 180 pounds, maybe you can cosplay Queen Eleanor with me as Merida, and you'll look more healthy.
Despite viewers of her shared fandom stumbling across her content from time to time and noting in the comments the bizarre behavior of a father and daughter cosplaying as a romantically invested couple, Oris would not see her first real sense of virality until late 2024, when she uploaded a POV vlog to her account of her returning home from an anime convention, where the caption states that she had been away from her 2 daughters over the weekend. For the first millisecond of this video, one would find nothing irregular about this. However, users quickly were left with a strong sense of discomfort and confusion when it is revealed that her daughters are, in actuality, all highly realistic reborn dolls, a type of doll that is oftentimes used by mothers as a therapeutic means to process the loss of a pregnancy. However, Oris has never been pregnant, nor has she ever lost a child for that matter, though it is explained that her reasoning as to acting as a mother to these dolls is due to her desire to fill a void inside of her that she feels can only be fixed through motherhood. She takes her so-called children everywhere with her, from road trips, movies, and cosplay conventions, to even breakfast with her father, where each doll is given their own assigned seat and ordered their own food, where again, Oris's mom is nowhere to be found. Now, I know I just presented a lot of confusing information for you to take in there, but I hope you have quite the appetite, because I regret to inform you that that was only just the surface of what we are to discuss here today. In fact, everything that was just stated will come to be found rather tame in comparison to the nightmarish details that you and I will be analyzing here together. For many users, what they found to be yet another of the many questionable spectacles that the website has offered throughout its history was, in actuality, a figure that had garnered back-alley notoriety far before their debut at TikTok in 2019, had an extensive and volatile history dating as far back as 2011, a grand total of 8 years before she had ever arrived on the platform. From Twitter meltdowns targeted at people of color, as well as those of the LGBTQ+ community, to intense body shaming and ridicule of her mother, as well as other cosplayers, the creation of not safe for work images of underage anime characters, to her suspicious relationship with her father, with whom she has publicly stated attraction for, which is met with her creating deplorable allegations against him, involving her father allegedly taking the prior mentioned not safe for work photos of his own daughter, as well as equally disturbing claims of SA, followed by Oris's controversy involving sending not safe for work photos to minors in exchange for money, to her outright admitting that she is a predator, with her stating that she has even been in love with her younger brother's friend ever since he was 9, and that the only reason nothing has happened between the two, despite her belief that this twisted desire is a gray area, is due to her recognizing the legalities of such an act. The story of Oris cosplays is one that has been fermenting in the background of the internet, consisting of blatant hypocrisy, unwarranted verbal attacks against any and every demographic imaginable, and grotesque predatory behavior that has remained virtually undetected for the last 12 years. Now, before you and I dive right into this rather interesting case study of yet another internet creep who has managed to go undetected for years, if you'd allow me to briefly introduce myself, I'd be forever grateful. Hi, I'm Wonder, your one-stop shop for calm deep dives on some of the internet's most unsavory individuals around. I upload a new deep dive on a bi-weekly to tri-weekly basis, so if you find you enjoy what you see here today in terms of production itself, feel free to leave me a like and subscribe with the bell notification on so you never miss out on a new story in the future. As well as yours truly. What, you gonna forget about me? Look at this guy right here, he didn't want to like and subscribe. Also feel free to let me know in the comments what you did or didn't like about today's video so I can work on providing a better viewing experience for you in the future. If you're feeling up to it and feel like you want to help out, I'd love to meet my personal end-of-year goal of hitting 140,000 subscribers to this channel family. I want to say thank you for all the continued support to the channel. I've been able to talk to quite a few of you in the last month just in random places online, and even somebody last night recognized me while I was playing games. It genuinely was like, no way, that's freaking awesome, dude. It just makes me feel incredibly appreciated not only as a creator, but also as a person. If you'd like to help support the creation of future deep dives, feel free to consider supporting me over on Patreon Patreon, where you can have your name featured at the end of each video, as well as access to my Patreon-only Discord server, where you can stop by and say hello, or becoming a channel member, where you'll get access to unique badges to show off how cool and awesome you are. Becoming a member is always appreciated, but by no means is ever required. You being here already, my friend, genuinely does help me out quite a bit. If you'd also like to help further boost my ego, if I missed anything in today's video, or you just like to say hey, feel free to follow me over on my Instagram, as it is the easiest place to reach me. Apologies, but a brief announcement here for my current community members. But I have recently started a sleep-based channel where I interview different people and creators in VR, but the premise is to keep everything rather low-key, so you can fall asleep with some decent background noise if that's your kind of thing. I've had quite a few people reach out and tell me that they use my content to go to bed, so why not make something on the side for those lovely individuals? I have also started just chatting streams alongside other activities every Friday with either myself or friends over on my Twitch if you're interested in stopping by. Both of those channels can be found currently on screen. Thank you for allowing me to get that out of the way, and I hope to possibly see you around there soon, if you're feeling up to it. Without further ado, once more, my name is Wonder, and it is truly phenomenal to have you here today. So, with that said, go grab yourself a snack and a beverage of the liquid variety, and let's you and I go ahead and dive right into the bewildering story of Oris Cosplays, TikTok's has-been hotel predator.
I do remember there's like a video clip of you saying that when you were 20, you had like this huge crush on someone that was 14.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. His name is Sam. He's more of my brother's friend. You libtards are the people who are hateful. Anything I say, you blackmail me for disagreeing with.
Is it true you liked your brother's 14-year-old friend?
Yeah, well, he's 16 now, but I used to have a crush on him, because
16 is still under the age in the United States, and you're 22.
I know.
What does everyone want this holiday? Sleep is better than that.
No.
Oh boy, I need to make a thrilling disclaimer here. Since currently a certain little wonderful platform has recently given a bunch of clankers actual admin privileges to control-alt-delete people like me on a whim, I will stupidly have to censor the faces of these literal plastic dolls and put a small disclaimer text when they appear that they are, and I state, not real. There are no minors featured in this video. Anyways, let's get on with it, I suppose. So stupid. Before you and I can begin to fully explore the volatile details surrounding their tarnished legacy, we first have to ask ourselves two very pivotal questions. Who exactly is the infamous Oris Cosplays, and where did she even come from? Important questions to ask, no doubt, but ones that, upon answering, will leave you and I with everlasting headaches nevertheless. But I have faith in you that I think you'll be okay. 29-year-old Oris Cosplays, aka Kelly White, or more currently known as, stated prior, reborn cosplay mom of many, on the surface is a cosplay-themed TikToker from Long Island, New York, specifically, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Ronkonkoma, a small hamlet with a population of around 19,000 residents as of the 2020 census. It is here where Oris currently resides with her parents, Joseph and Patricia, alongside her younger brother Casey, before he moved out. Oris does not live here by choice, as she has stated publicly, due to those who make jest at her for the fact that she still lives with her parents at 29, but rather she claims she does this out of financial necessity as she is unable to afford a home.
I live in Long Island because it's super expensive. Why don't you try getting a house there and see how expensive it is? You don't know my situation. I mean, you think I want to live with my parents like a child? No, I want my own house. I mean, I want to move to another state just to get my own house. You don't know my circumstances. Please leave me alone. Please stop calling me a child. I'm really getting sick and tired of people calling me a baby. If I'm such a baby, then how come I'm not using my parents' money anymore? How come I'm trying to save money for a house?
However, she isn't aiding her situation by any means here, as she phrases that her cosplaying endeavors, trips to...
We considered making an ad about how you can save up to 80% off over 300,000 music gear listings on Reverb this holiday season. But instead, we decided to do this.
Conventions and purchasing of reborn dolls are akin to that of financial necessities, which is why she cannot afford to leave the home.
My parents do not pay for most of my things. I pay for my own things ever since I got my job. You don't know me, so please stop bringing my parents into this. I was having a really great birthday until you had to make fun of me. Boo-hoo, she lives with her parents. Well, you know what? I'm really sorry that living in Long Island, New York is so ridiculously expensive that I financially can't live by myself. Maybe do your research before making fun of me. I had $200 in my PayPal account, and I did not use my parents' money. It was the money I earned from my job. I spent it on a Zelda cosplay from Echoes of Wisdom, and I spent it on a wig. 2 wigs. You know, I'm sorry I'm not adult enough for you. I'm sorry that Long Island is so expensive. I don't want to live with my parents either.
Hey, you know, I'm not a financial advisor. It's your money. You do as you please. I'm not your piggy bank whispering sweet nothings into your ear. But perhaps a little unsolicited, unprofessional advice if you're in a little bit of a financial bind. Maybe purchasing thousands of dollars worth of lifelike dolls isn't exactly the best way you could be spending your money. However, I can't even fully fault Oris for behaving this way, because it is in my strongest, utmost belief that her parents are not only both enabling this, and primarily on her dad's side, encouraging this behavior of hers. Consisting of a humble audience of over 35,000 followers, with over 1.5 million likes attributed to her account, Oris's account primarily revolves around her day-to-day life as a cosplaying quote-unquote mom to her, as the name suggests, reborn dolls. Lifelike dolls that are usually provided in rare instances as a therapeutic means to help a mother cope with the loss of a child. Something Oris herself has never actually experienced. However, this does not prevent her from starting what she believes to be a legitimate family in her eyes. Throughout her content, one can find numerous family vlogs with her current reborn dolls, Emily, Jen, Ashley, and Summer, where she takes these lifelike dolls out for everyday occasions such as frequenting restaurants, road trips, movies, and walking around Long Island together, capturing every moment like a proud mother watching her children grow up before her very eyes. Oris, despite recently selling off her son Adam for 72 doubloons, is currently in the market for several new additions to her family according to her Amazon wishlist, where she is seeking 3 more dolls to call her daughters. She states that once her family unit is finally complete, she will obtain more dolls, but these will strictly be for cosplaying purposes only. Interestingly enough, Oris has actually had a small amount of articles written about her, due to the peculiar nature of her account, where she goes more in depth as to her reasoning behind exactly why she chooses to raise a family of plastic nightmare fuel, and how that this was in reality a rather unexpected direction in her life. In an article by the New York Post posted on September 6, 2024, titled, wait a second, is this literally the title? Jesus Christ, what is journalism? I breastfeed my 7 dolls and care for them like real babies. I don't care what haters think. We are provided direct quotes from Oris, where she informs the interviewer that she had purchased her first reborn doll, Julie, for her 27th birthday, and how she had immediately felt a maternal bond form between them, stating that the two became virtually inseparable almost overnight. I just couldn't help but want to care for Jennifer like a real child, Oris said. I can't explain how it happened, but I suddenly got so attached to her and spent the week buying her clothes and eventually her own bed that sits next to the end of my bed in my room. Oris continues her explanation in the following paragraph with a statement that reads as the following. My dad explained to me it was normal to have the desire to be a parent now that I'm in my late 20s, so I didn't really question why I love these dolls so much like real children, she continued. They go everywhere with me. By 7 p.m., I get them all ready for bed and I play some songs on an ocarina.
So, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna play some songs on the ocarina.
Ghirardelli peppermint bark makes the holidays a bite better.
Gary, what are you doing here?
I just want to talk. No threats, no drama, just a conversation.
This article then concludes with a summarization that Oris had began to combine her love for reborn dolls and cosplay into one singular passion, and how she had rebranded her TikTok account to represent this, hence the obvious name, Reborn Cosplay Mom of Many. Also, a small error I noticed that isn't really of major importance, but something you may have noticed if you were doing quick math with those dates there. This article states that Kelly was 29 in 2024. However, this isn't accurate, as was briefly shown prior. Oris just recently turned 29 in October of 2025. There is back and forth misinformation surrounding her age online, with some users stating she is in her 30s and early 20s, which is incorrect. For clarification, Oris's birthday is October 21st, 1996. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to share with you. Entirely pointless information, but this article painfully begins with a pun that states that Oris is doing the best she can. So funny! I had to experience reading that, now so do you. With that cleared up, let's continue. When it comes to the other varying aspects of her account, Oris can be found portraying her favorite characters from media, with her most notable cosplays being that of characters from The Legend of Zelda, Hazbin Hotel, Steven Universe, My Hero Academia, as well as many others that would take far too long to list, but her portfolio is quite extensive. Often featured alongside in these cosplays of her is her father Joseph, with whom she frequently makes couples TikToks duets with her on her page. But not only does this pair do TikTok together, the two have been going to conventions as a couple long before her debut to TikTok. And yes, I purposefully use the word couple because they quite literally cosplay as characters that are shipped together, which is, yes, the intended goal. To cosplay romantically father-daughter style. There is quite a bit, rather a metric ton of disturbing details that we will unpack together here soon enough. Before she became known as the reborn cosplay mom of many over on TikTok, Oris's first appearance to the internet that I could find dates all the way back to June 2nd, 2011, when she posted to her still active Deviant account, simply known as Oris, fan art she did of a character known as Midna from the game The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, a humble introduction expressing her admiration for the franchise that would act as the first glimmer of what would fully develop into a complete and utter 12-year-long dumpster fire that is actively still burning behind the scenes to this day. This DeviantArt page, consisting of countless lewd images of Oris that no amount of bleach in my eyes will ever be able to cure witnessing, had a rather innocent beginning in comparison of what was to come. There isn't much here aside from the aforementioned not safe for work images that is incredibly peculiar in nature to take away from this account, but it does provide us with insight as to what Oris is like as a person and how she has evolved from her earliest years. When visiting the biography section of her account, one can find a description that reads as the following. Current residence, Long Island, New York State. Favorite genre of music, Zelda, other video games, music, Disney, and Les Miserables. I know, I'm incredibly emo. This bio of hers continues on and actually goes rather in depth in a very specific way, as it goes on to state the foods that she likes, the foods she hates, followed by her favorite seafood, musical artists, and anime. This about section is not of any real importance per se. However, there are quite a few interesting bits of information here that leave me somewhat perplexed. Such as, I wonder what the motive was for adding a favorite food section, followed by a favorite seafood section that just overlaps with the prior list of said favorite foods. It's also a little humorous that she states that she loves manga, but when it comes to her favorite writers, she implies that reading is boring. But like, you know people write mangas, right? There are words in manga. Hypothetical question here, what would you call a person who writes words in a manga? Ah, if only there was a word for that one. Maybe she just doesn't even read the mangas though. Maybe she's like me and she's like, oh boy, the pictures. But my favorite line out of all this, as it will come to ironically age very poorly, is where she states that her other dislikes are, and I quote, "Forgive me for my Disney-like censorship here. People who are female dogs to little kids. I'll kick those female dogs' gluteus maximuses." She has quite a magical way with words, doesn't she? At the bottom of her About Me section are several links to her socials, such as her Twitter, 2 separate Tumblrs, and her current channel. One of many, as she has a history of deleting her channels, much like that scene in Death Note where Light just starts like tweaking with the book. Most of which we will explore in due time as a loving class. But first things first, in chronological order, as her story quickly becomes a roller coaster of events and spectacles that are incredibly hard to keep track of and date in succession to one another. When it came to Oris's debut into the cosplaying community, her first documented cosplay from what could be found was technically posted on September 3rd, 2011 during a camping trip she took with her family, where she snuck away into the woods to capture a photo of her outfit with the image captioned as, quote, "In the lonely world." However, and this is not a disrespect to the cosplay itself, but I say that this was technically her first cosplay, as I am unsure as to what character she was attempting to portray here, as she states in the description of this post that this image was taken on her 3DS, and she doesn't state who she is trying to portray, which isn't made any more clear as she is wearing a t-shirt and open button-up, so your guess is as good as mine. I believe this is the same as her other cosplays featuring a similar character known as Alphonse, forgive me if I mispronounced that, from the anime Full Metal Alchemist, but it is far too blurry and non-descriptive to tell. Also, just a disclaimer, I blurred this image of Oris because she was still a minor at the time that this photo was taken. So apologies on my end, as I know we're trying to be a bit descriptive here, but we can't really see it. In this post, we also see Oris's, to my knowledge, first interaction with another member of the cosplaying community, which displays an individual expressing admiration for her photo, citing their excitement at the fact that Oris too was a Nintendo fan, with a user gleefully inquiring Oris about if it would be okay if she asked for her friend code, to which Oris blandly replies with a lackluster, sure. A small foreshadowing of her inability to reciprocate the kind gestures and words that would be presented towards her over the years as she began her full emergence into the cosplaying scene. And where community and friendship was presented, it would be matched with volatility and hatred from Oris for quite some time, something I personally believe was the result of chronic low self-esteem and self-depreciating aspects that can be found throughout the comment sections regarding her cosplays. A good example of this was when she posted on November 11th, 2011, her cosplay of a character known as Kari, and forgive me if I mispronounced that, from the series Kingdom Hearts, where the last line of the description reads as the following: "I don't understand why people love my cosplay so much. To be honest, I think this is a crappy picture of me." Something off the cuff I also forgot to mention is the fact that there are several photos where Oris can be seen using Photoshop to make herself appear more thin than she actually is, which, quite frankly, is really sad, as body dysmorphia is one of the worst things anyone can experience. These sentiments would eventually blossom into full-blown toxic perfectionism, placed not only on herself but others in the cosplaying community, as well as her own mother, with whom she refused to cosplay with, publicly stating that despite her mother's interest in participating in her daughter's hobby, Oris believed that her mother was too overweight to accurately portray characters, citing that she would cosplay with her mother so long as she meets Oris's, I guess, government-mandated weight loss goals.
So a lot of people ask me sometimes,
buy the new Old Spice NFL collection at Walmart today.
Oh, do you want to be big, little guy?
Just fulfilled his dream.
What are you doing to Yeti?
Would you like to see how it is to be legendary?
why doesn't your mom ever cosplay with you if your dad cosplays with you? And I'm gonna sound very mean, but I'm also gonna compare it to like how in Hollywood weight matters. I'm not saying my mom's fat, I'm just saying if she was like skinnier, and she's losing weight by the way, and yesterday I gave my mom a goal. If you get to 180 pounds, maybe you can cosplay Queen Eleanor with me as Merida, and you'll look more healthy.
Despite her clear uncertainty and lack of self-assurance, yet again, she is met with loving comments and advice from those who do not see the flaws of such a cosplay to prohibit the excitement of seeing someone enjoying themselves with their shared hobby as they continue to garner stable footing with their abilities in the craft. On September 18th, 2011, in a post that is incredibly desaturated for some reason, so apologies for that, Oris would post a live update to her DeviantArt page where she explained that she was starting school in the coming weeks and how she had grand plans to participate in a cosplaying competition at an upcoming unspecified anime convention that same year. However, according to what I could find online, the only anime conventions to take place after September 2011 were known as Anime USA, which was held in late November, followed by Pacific Media Expo and Expo TNT 2011, both held in December. Neither of which there is, to my knowledge, evidence that Oris had ever attended these cons. So, for her first